Blessed to be part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. So this just in from the Michael Cohen hearing. Apparently, Mr. Cohen gave his testimony or his opening statement to CNN before he gave it to the House of Representatives, the Oversight Committee, a clear violation of the rules. Mark Meadows has said this is wrong, but now you have the devious little liberals backing this up. The motion to postpone the hearing is going down in flames. We'll have more on that coming up, plus with Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity. I mean, Sean Hannity's got to be either the craziest guy in broadcasting or the hardest working, or maybe both. He's in Vietnam. You've probably seen the video of him on the little scooter. He's doing the TV show, doing the radio show right here, afternoons for us on KIDO Talk Radio. And then he's covering the Michael Cohen interview, and he's covering the president's meeting with Little Rocket Man. It is amazing. Joining us now to discuss, well, the Trump derangement syndrome that seems to be running wild is Dr. Marty Nemko, joining us from Oakland, California. Dr. Nemko, good morning.
Good morning.
So when we take a look at really what's happening in the world today, is the president the most vilified, most misunderstood elected politician in modern time?
Well, certainly, yes. I think nobody would argue with that. The question is, to what extent is it deserved and is it not? He certainly had a lot. He's had a lot to his credit. The unemployment rate being relatively low, with having talks with North Korea. He is, instead of being seen as a patsy where the world can kind of just roll over, we can, that the American will roll over. He's somebody who's unpredictable in some crazy way that improves his negotiating position. You never hear that if you listen to or watch the aforementioned CNN.
Yeah, we seem to be having a little trouble with your phone. It's fading in and out there. I don't know if you can move or what you can do.
I'm on a landline. Is this any better?
Yeah, that seems to be a lot better. We had a little beep there. But when we take a look at Michael Cohen testifying before a former employer, you're the author of many books on this subject. You deal with psychology. You deal with career counseling. Do you think Michael Cohen will ever get another job?
Well, when nothing that's going to be above the radar because it would be too embarrassing. But guys who are that close to power always find a way under the radar to find a job. Even when Monica Lewinsky, the scandal hit, no, she's not going to get hired by Maybelline as their spokesperson, but she will, people who know people get jobs, but Michael Cohen, much more than a Monica Lewinsky, no doubt will find a way under the radar. Nobody will, won't be public, but behind the scenes, he has too much knowledge to not be employable.
When we take a look at one of your many books here, Careers for Dummies, the best ideas for having worked with 5,400 clients, are we all ever satisfied with our careers, or is the grass always greener? Is that a problem?
Well, we've been, unfortunately, I think, sold a bill of goods for the last, probably really since the 60s, told you need to follow your passion, do what you love, and yet too few jobs are really that fun. Even people whose jobs are ostensibly wonderful, like being an actor, yet many actors commit suicide. Most jobs, even that are considered great, have a lot of boring and hard parts to it. And I think that there is something to be said for the greatest generation, where the purpose of work was certainly not, you don't necessarily want to be in a clanging carcinogenic factory, iron foundry, but there needs to be, and this really makes me sound like a fuddy-duddy, but the idea of the word responsibility, duty to make a living is primary, and most jobs just aren't that fun. And so I think we can't expect more than that.
Right.
Fortunately, for what it's worth, because there is such a sense of, there's a couple of things. This is conservative radio. Let's talk about this.
Well, we've only got a couple minutes left here, so.
Oh, I'll shut up. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, sir, what's the number one advice you could give people to make sure that they you can't guarantee they won't get fired, but fireproofing somebody?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, unfortunately, and again, you're probably not going to like this, but work for government, which is ever expanding. Because really, in the private sector, there's a tremendous tendency to hire people part-time, temp, and the gig economy, whereas government is the last bastion of full-time benefited, you probably can't get fired employment.
That's great advice, Dr. Nemko. Thank you. MartyNemko.com, Career Advice for Dummies. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
All right. By the way, we'll be going live to the House Oversight Committee very soon. We've got the Chairman, Elijah Cummings, already losing control because Michael Cohen released his statement to CNN, but not to the House Oversight Committee, and it hasn't even begun yet. So we'll hear Michael Cohen. We'll take your calls. We are just rolling here, waking up on the right side, because it's us or them, right? It's us or them. Let's go to Holly. Hang on. I pressed the wrong button. Mark and Eagle, who's been very patient. Good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller.
Good morning, Kevin. I just wanted to quickly touch on, I don't believe I talked to Ray, and it wasn't brought up yet, about the Idaho Senate opens doors to gun confiscation orders with SJR 101 vote just the other day.
Well, no, I got your email on that. That is Marcy's law that has been debated, and I believe there's going to be a big protest march against it. Tomorrow it'll be in the House.
Great.
Proponents say it's a victims' rights bill. Other people say, and this is where I'd love to hear from you, Mark, that it's a open door to red flag laws and taking the guns.
Well, according to Greg Pruitt of the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance, that's exactly what it is. And I guess out of our 34 senators, 25, including a number of Republicans like Winder, voted for this thing. So it has to go to the House. Requires apparently a two-thirds majority in both chambers, and then apparently it would be placed on the ballot from what I understand after that. But I personally, I hope this thing gets knocked down. What's very odd, this is what I don't like about the way things are set up from our government, state, federal, local, whatever. You read this. This was an article I saw that was sent to me from a relative from AmmoLand. Well, AmmoLand is where people can buy ammo and things like that online. If you look at what it says by Greg Pruitt on there, that this is a deceitful bill, but then again, if you look at it, just simply Google that or Yahoo search it, and you read another way that is presented, it doesn't put those nefarious things that is what is being said by Greg Pruitt. And it's like, okay, so does that mean that our Senate or our legislature is being deceitful and not telling us the true meaning of what this bill actually does to gun rights and gun owners in this state? That's pretty much what I wanted to say, and I'll let you take it from there.
All right.
You have a good day, sir.
Thank you, Mark. Let's go to Holly in Caldwell with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Guns, guns, and more guns. Good morning.
Good morning. People should email the Idaho House and let them know they are adamantly against Marcy's law. They should go to Growing Freedom Idaho and check out the real conservative alternative to that doesn't put our state into big financial duress, and also to have backdoors to red flag gun laws. Rep. Priscilla Giddings and Christy Zitto and Heather Scott have a video about that new legislation they're proposing. It's the conservatives' alternative to Marcy's law that still protects victims, but it doesn't have put a really bad piece of legislation in our state. In fact, some states who have passed that are trying to get out of it because they're realizing the pitfalls in that. I think they should also let them know that we want true constitutional carry in Idaho. That incident with Rep. Christensen in the restaurant, what he posted the day that happened was, hey, they didn't even wait until we'd ordered our food. But honestly, the real issue is we don't have education in our homes and schools and civics that teach that we do have a Second Amendment right, and then it's okay for people to tattle on another client in a restaurant, and the restaurant owner is willing to run over and immediately impede their Second Amendment right. So we need to get some education.
Right, and for people that aren't
kids.
familiar with the story, that's on our website. You have a downtown restaurant. They said people were concerned with people coming in with the 3%ers, the real 3%ers. Representative Christensen, apparently, according to published reports, they were going to eat their lunch. Then the owner came over, manager, and said, look, people are worried about you wearing guns in this restaurant. I don't know if they asked him to leave or what the deal was, but it comes down to the point, are you comfortable with the citizens having power or the oppressive state ruling our lives?
Yes, and we've got to educate and we've got to speak up if we care. Sitting around on our thumbs, today is the day you need to email the Idaho House, the Idaho Legislature. It's easy to get their emails. If you don't have them, you can find me on Facebook. I'll send you the emails. But people need to become involved and not just concerned. That means doing something.
Holly, thank you.
Thanks.
Let's go to James in Boise with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, James.
Good morning. I had a comment on the open carry as well.
Sure, go ahead, please.
Well, I'm not from Idaho. I came here from Oregon. But the thing that I didn't like there that made me leave when they legalized marijuana is the fact that you could, have it anywhere. I wasn't comfortable having it around my kids, like secondhand smoke. But they weren't about secondhand smoke. I'm saying smoking in general, but that's another point. You're allowed to smoke, and the secondhand smoke's dangerous for people to inhale, but we don't complain about them smoking. They have set areas or certain things they can do about it. Same with, the open carry. I'm for it. If they do it, I feel more comfortable with them doing it than someone who's, a criminal or, if their criminal pops up, someone's handy if the cop's not around. They have the weapon that's been trained with it.
Oh, no, I totally agree with you on that. It's fascinating, though, that we are in one of the most conservative states, and if it hadn't been for the work of the Idaho Second Amendment Alliance led by our friend Greg Pruitt and Seth, we wouldn't have concealed carry. We wouldn't have the ability to debate issues on the enhanced concealed carry and whether or not you should be allowed to go into a school without telling the school board.
Well, and I think that it's one of those things where if they have the permit to do it, I think it should be fine. I mean, I'm against people carrying that, aren't a criminal but having a gun. You need to go through the steps to get it. Same as having a driver's license or having any kind of ability to do something. You need to go through the process. But other than that, they should have the right to do it. Same thing. I'm not for the Medicaid expansion, but since it passed its law, we have to do it. I'm not for it, but there it is.
James, appreciate the call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio. Join the conversation now, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's go to John from Middleton with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning, Kevin. Thank you, as always, for giving the people a voice and a platform to exercise their rights. And I think similar to free speech, even if you might be a little uncomfortable, you still need to exercise your free speech. That's one of the reasons why I call in, is simply exercise my rights and just practice that and get comfortable with that because, the liberals and the left are hell-bent on taking away our rights, and our Second Amendment right is just as important as the First Amendment, in my opinion. And I personally am not an open carry person. I carry concealed everywhere, but I like seeing guys carry open. It's exercising your rights. Let the public see it. That's why we're one of the safest states in the country. Deal with it. Keep carrying open. Everybody exercise. Even if you carry concealed, you let it telegraph a little bit. Let people know you carry if you need to. And I'm all about just encouraging people to exercise your rights. Don't just believe in your rights, but exercise them because they're really hell-bent on taking them away from us. So we need to keep flexing. That's my comment for today, Kevin. Thank you again for the platform.
Thank you, John. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Ray, let's go to Fox News right now. We've got Representative Jordan laying the smackdown on Michael Cohen. Then Cohen will testify. But let's hear what he has to say here on KIDO Talk Radio.
Congress has appeared again so quickly in front of Congress. Certainly it's the first time a convicted perjurer has been brought back to be a star witness in a hearing. And there's a reason this is the first, because no other committee would do it. Think about this. With Mr. Cohen here, this committee, we got lots of lawyers on this committee. This committee is actually encouraging a witness to violate attorney-client privilege. Mr. Chairman, when we legitimize dishonesty, we delegitimize this institution. We're supposed to pursue the truth, but you have stacked the deck against the truth. We're only allowed to ask certain questions. Even with that amendment you just told us about, well, Russia's now on the table. You initially told us we can't ask questions about the special counsel, can't ask questions about the Southern District of New York, can't ask questions about Russia. Nope. Only subjects we can talk about are ones you think are going to be harmful to the President of the United States. And the answers to those questions are going to come from a guy who can't be trusted. Here's what the U.S. Attorney said about Mr. Cohen. While Mr. Cohen enjoyed a privileged life, his desire for ever greater wealth and influence precipitated an extensive course of criminal conduct. Mr. Cohen committed four distinct federal crimes over a period of several years.
And that is Jim Jordan of Ohio on 107.5 FM, 580 AM KIDO Talk Radio. We'll have more of this, plus your comments in real time. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. And just for our affiliates down the line on KIDO Talk Radio and our affiliate 107.5 FM, Kevin Miller with you. We will be going live to the Michael Cohen hearings. He has just been sworn in, which is very odd because he's just sworn to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. He's already been convicted of perjury and lying and everything else. And I can't wait to get your reaction to Mr. Cohen's opening statement that he has already leaked to the major networks to embarrass our president. Let's go to it live now, KIDO Talk Radio.
Yes. Chairman Cummings, Ranking Member Jordan, and members of the committee, thank you for inviting me here today. I have asked this committee to ensure that my family be protected from presidential threats and that the committee be sensitive to the questions pertaining to ongoing investigations. I thank you for your help and for your understanding. I am here under oath to correct the record, to answer the committee's questions truthfully, and to offer the American people what I know about President Trump. I recognize that some of you may doubt and attack me on my credibility. It is for this reason that I have incorporated into this opening statement documents that are irrefutable and demonstrate that the information you will hear is accurate and truthful. Never in a million years did I imagine, when I accepted a job in 2007 to work for Donald Trump, that he would one day run for the presidency, to launch a campaign on a platform of hate and intolerance, and actively win. I regret the day I said yes to Mr. Trump. I regret all the help and support I gave him along the way. I am ashamed of my own failings and publicly accepted responsibility for them by pleading guilty in the Southern District of New York. I am ashamed of my weakness and my misplaced loyalty, of the things I did for Mr. Trump in an effort to protect and promote him. I am ashamed that I chose to take part in concealing Mr. Trump's illicit acts rather than listening to my own conscience. I am ashamed because I know what Mr. Trump is. He is a racist, he is a con man, and he is a cheat. He was a presidential candidate who knew that Roger Stone was talking with Julian Assange about a
there we have
WikiLeaks
it.
drop.
Michael Cohen, we'll get back to him. But as was leaked to the networks, that was not leaked to the House Judiciary Committee, we have the convicted criminal attacking our beloved president. This does no purpose but to undermine the credibility of the United States and the Trump administration at home and abroad. And as our friend Congressman Jordan, as we had him here in studio, just expressed, their hands are tied. They can't ask Mr. Cohen, the criminal, any type of questions. This is the first time this has happened in our nation's history. A convicted perjurer, a criminal, is testifying. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. The coup continues, but we've got an answer for him. First, traffic and weather together on 107.5 FM. Back to your phone calls about the issues that matter to you. You just heard Michael Cohen, the criminal, go after the president of the United States. The Republicans trying to say, why is this man even testifying? We'll have more from him in a minute. Back to your phone calls about the issues that matter to you. And we go to Tea Party Bob, who joins us now on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, sir.
You know, Mr. Miller, I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have your show to wake up to in the morning. I'd have to be listening to all the other garbage that's on. And sometimes I'm not sure what country I'm living in when I wake up and listen to the news and have nothing but complaints being spewed about what's wrong with this great place we live in. You know, like I said yesterday, we have allowed the changes to take place in our country that are against what our forefathers fought for. because of our inattention to the government we choose and the education we allow our children to be taught. We seem to give up a little more of our God-given rights every day to some irrational left-wing progressive that takes to the courts, finds a liberal judge.
Speaking of this, though, we have this just in from Cohen. Mr. Trump did not direct me to lie directly to Congress. So there goes the smoking gun. All this is trying to undermine Donald J. Trump domestically, internationally. Here he is dealing with Little Rocket Man with Sean Hannity, and we've got Cohen singing to the Dems, to the libs in Congress. Your thoughts?
Everything is done purposefully. The left has had such a hard time trying to fight this man, and he continues to hold his popularity. It's killing them. They don't know what to do. This is another last-ditch effort to try and bring him down. You're not going to see this change. They can't get what they want. And now that he's done the emergency for the wall, they're absolutely livid. They don't know where to go with this. They know they're not going to win in the courts. So what happens? They put somebody like Cohen on his stand, who we know is a liar, who's been proven a liar, and we have to sit there and listen to this garbage spewed out of his mouth about a guy who's actually turned this country around in 2 years, something that we had 3 presidents couldn't do in 20 years.
Great point, Tea Party Bob, JumpStatePatriot.com. Thank you. You're listening to KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM, your home for Fox News Now. And coming up, more coverage of the Michael Cohen testimony saying, quote, Mr. Trump has become the worst version of himself since taking office. We'd love to get your reaction at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Benny in Cuna with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Benny, thanks for your patience. Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Living the dream, brother.
Good. So, real quick question for you and your listeners. I just had a theory, and I'm just wondering if all this socialism that's coming out with the Democrats, do you think they're setting the stage for Biden or Michelle Obama?
Oh, I totally believe this, and I totally believe there are some people nefariously within the Republican Party, the establishment, the deep staters, that want to make sure that the president isn't reelected because he is the greatest threat to the established order. We see this with the trumped-up Russian investigation, the Southern District of New York, the Steele dossier. I feel like I sound like mini Sean Hannity here, but, compared to his popularity to President Obama's at the same time, the president, even though the media coverage is 95% negative, he's winning.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The media is just completely unfair, man, and I just think it's horrible what they're doing, setting the stage for, just the wrong leaders and, they want to take over. So, I don't know. I appreciate your time. I just want to say thank you for letting me come on, and have a good morning.
Benny, thank you for listening to KIDO Talk Radio. Take care, sir.
You too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Don't forget that story we've been talking about all morning. Representative Christensen hanging out at a downtown restaurant, having a good time, asked to leave with the real 3%ers because they were wearing guns. Details at KIDOTalkRadio.com. How secure do you feel when you're in a restaurant and people openly carry? I don't have an issue with it, but, I love America.
I am ashamed of my own failings and publicly accepted responsibility for them by pleading guilty in the Southern District of New York. I am ashamed of my weakness and my misplaced loyalty, of the things I did for Mr. Trump in an effort to protect and promote him. I am ashamed that I chose to take part in concealing Mr. Trump's illicit acts rather than listening to my own conscience. I am ashamed because I know what Mr. Trump is. He is a racist, he is a con man, and he is a cheat. And
as we said, is there any benefit to having the convicted criminal, Michael Cohen, whose motto should be, trust me, I'm lying, testifying before this stacked panel in Congress? Elijah Cummings, the chairman of the House Oversight and Judiciary Committee, had this to say concerning, Mr. Cohen's testimony. Even he acknowledged he's a liar.
The president has made many statements of his own, and now the American people have a right to hear the other side. They can watch Mr. Cohen's testimony and make their own judgment.
And by the way, this just in, Cohen just saying Mr. Trump is a racist. Mr. Trump is a cheat. So if I'm Vladimir Putin, I got to be thinking this is great. If I'm Little Rocket Man, I've got to be thinking this is great. Because from the outside perspective, his own people are turning on the president. Never mind his popularity, never mind the jobs, never mind the Make America. I didn't know that Make America Great Again was racist. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I didn't know that Make America Great was something that we should all be ashamed of. That's cheating. No, Michael Cohen should be in jail. He should not be publicly testifying. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear yours. Terry from State College, Pennsylvania. Good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Good morning.
Good morning. Kevin, it's so pathetic that everyday life in America has degraded to this, like a B-class movie. It's just really sad. I mean, come on. They know he's a liar, but yet they're going to still continue to listen to him. Where's that logic? Why would they consider even believing him? Where's that thinking? I don't understand this, Kevin. I can't wrap my head around it. It's gotten so far out of hand that, we have to truly say there's this huge spiritual battle taking place right now. And we've got to take our eyes off the flesh and put our eyes on God, because he's the one that's behind all this. He's saying, hey, I'm allowing this to happen. Maybe it'll waken you up. Maybe it won't. Well, Kevin, I got some good news. Here's a way for everybody to waken up and stop being part of the problem if you are. It's called USA.life. It's a new Facebook, and they will not censor conservatives or Christians. And they're currently working on a competitor for Google also. Rick Wiles told us this about a year ago. It's up, it's launched, it's running.
Sure.
Everybody should look it up.
Terry,
Yeah, what?
Great point. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you.
Have a good day.
God bless. Let's go to Michael Cohen singing the blues now on 107.5 FM, 580 AM, or KIDO Talk Radio on 107.5 FM, 580 AM.
Would be coming when I asked Mr. Trump, or when I told Mr. Trump of my success. He actually reveled in it. And yet, I continued to work for him. Mr. Trump is a con man. He asked me to pay off an adult film star with whom he had an affair and to lie about it to his wife, which I did. And lying to the First Lady is one of my biggest regrets, because she is a kind, good person, and I respect her greatly, and she did not deserve that. And I'm giving the committee today a copy of the $130,000 wire transfer from me to Ms. Clifford's attorney during the closing days of the presidential campaign that was demanded by Ms. Clifford to maintain her silence about her affair with Mr. Trump. And this is Exhibit 4 to my testimony. Mr. Trump directed me to use my own personal funds from a home equity line of credit to avoid any money being traced back to him that could negatively impact his campaign.
By the way, thank you for that, Rehemiah. How old is Michael Cohen? How old is he? Is he not an accomplished attorney? Doesn't he have free will? And the insults directed at President Trump. My, oh my, just kind of crazy. Those wacky, zany libs. And yet we're supposed to believe this guy who's a liar. I'm lying this time because I didn't lie last time, but I'm lying again, but I'm not really lying. Do two lies mean the truth, like two negatives mean a positive? Aquaman joins us now on 107.5 FM, 580 AM, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Aquaman.
Good morning. I'm watching this, and suddenly I'm having a flashback from the 70s, thinking that I'm watching a Francis Ford Coppola movie, and I'm listening to Robert Duvall defending Mr. Michael Corleone, not Mike Cohen.
Yeah, I would agree with you. We talked about that. We did mention that earlier.
Gangster.
Right, we did mention that earlier. It does seem like Godfather 2 is, we're listening to it right before our ears.
I'm sorry I missed that piece, but appreciate you letting me weigh in.
All right, Aquaman, thank you for the call. Here we go. Michael Cohen, the president, personally signed a $35,000 check to reimburse him for paying off the porn star, according to the convicted criminal, Michael Cohen. Your calls are next, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. We go to Pro-Life, who joins us now on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Pro-Life.
You know, Michael Cohen said that the president is racist. Now, there's no evidence to that whatsoever, and he's not going to present any evidence to that. He is a liar on that point for sure. Now, what I want to say is that the Republicans are the dumbest people in the world because they say, well, if we don't allow the president to build the wall, we're going to vote against the president building the wall because he can't get funding from Congress, and that's unconstitutional. Well, maybe it is. But the problem is they are saying because if we follow the Constitution now, that means that the Democrats, when they get in power, then they'll follow the Constitution. Now, that is total BS. The Democrats do not care one thing about the Constitution. And just because the Republicans might care about the Constitution, they think the Democrats, well, that's how deceived they are. There's no good Republicans.
We talk about how low they're willing to go. What purpose does it serve to have this guy who's going to jail doing the media tours, releasing his opening statement, and making all these allegations that have not been proven?
Yeah, it doesn't do any good whatsoever, and it just shows that Mr. Jordan was right in criticizing the whole committee, the chairman of the committee and the Democrats that have the power over that committee. They are no good whatsoever, and we are in a war for America, and if you think that you can coexist with Democrats, you're pretty stupid because they don't care at all, and the Republicans are too dumb to understand that.
Well, we love the big tent party right here. Pro-Life, thank you for the call.
All right.
Let's go to Jerry in Eagle with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Jerry. Your thoughts on Michael Cohen?
Well, I just wanted to say that it's pretty obvious to me, listening to your friend Lars Larson last night, I had already been thinking about what he said about it, and he's correct, 100%. This is simply
Jerry, we lost you. We'll get you back in a minute. You're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Blessed to be with you. Let's go back to the House Oversight Committee. Michael Cohen singing the blues on KIDO Talk Radio.
So I concluded that Don Jr. was referring to that June 2016 Trump Tower meeting about dirt on Hillary with the Russian representatives when he walked behind his dad's desk that day. And that Mr. Trump knew that was the meeting Don Jr. was talking about when he said, "That's good. Let me know." Over the past year or so, I have done some real soul searching. And I see now that my ambition and the intoxication of Trump power had much to do with the bad decisions, in part, that I made. And to you, Chairman Cummings and Ranking Member Jordan, and the other members of this committee, the members of the House and Senate, I am sorry for my lies and for lying to Congress. And to our nation, I am sorry for actively working to hide from you the truth about Mr. Trump when you needed it most. For those who question my motives for being here today, I understand. I have lied, but I am not a liar. And I have done bad things, but I am not a bad man. I have fixed things, but I am no longer your fixer, Mr. Trump. And I am going to prison and have shattered the safety and security that I tried so hard to provide for my family. My testimony certainly does not diminish the pain that I have caused my family and my friends. Nothing can do that. And I have never asked for, nor would I accept, a pardon from President Trump.
And there we have it. There we have it, Michael Cohen singing the blues and telling everybody that Donald Trump's a bad person. Now, if you voted for Mr. Trump, you're not going to believe Michael Cohen. If you are someone that doesn't like Mr. Trump, maybe you were at Boise State and saw Julian Castro when he's not saying that the U.S. should pay reparations, talking about how Medicaid expansion is great and the state of Idaho is ahead of the state of Texas. Well, you like Michael Cohen. Finally, we have something on him. Do you believe that? I don't know. Sooner or later in life, whether it's with friendship, whether you're with family, you just have to understand that things just aren't working out. It's just a bad fit. And at what cost? Maybe it's a new job. Maybe you decide that you're going to get a new job in Salt Lake. And yeah, you're going to be away from your family, but this is a really great opportunity. And then you weigh the pros and cons. You talk to your spouse. Oh, we're in it. But then when you get going, the cost seems too high. You miss your kids' basketball games. You're not there for family gatherings. You're working all the time. It's that whole quality of life thing that we talk about, right? And then sooner or later you have to say, it's just not worth it. When do you think the Democrats will finally say, it's just not worth it? I go back to the 1980 presidential election. George Herbert Walker Bush versus Ronald Reagan. They were having this big debate, and it looked like Reagan was going to win. And Bush had the goods on him, and he was going to smack him at this debate. But then the senior Bush looked at himself and said, nope, it's time to fold our tent. It's time to heal. It's time to move on. This will destroy the Republican nominee, Ronald Reagan, and allow Jimmy Carter to be reelected. He did it for the greater good. Isn't it about time that someone decides the greater good is much more imperative to the lifeblood of our country than hearing Michael Cohen sing the blues? 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's get you to work safely and on time. KIDO Talk Radio. Taking your calls about the issues that matter to you. This is a day that you don't want to get anywhere away from our great friends here. Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, Lars Larson. I'm sure even Dave Ramsey will be talking about this. For complete coverage of the Michael Cohen hearings, his apologies, his everything else, you need to stay right here on KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM.
I am here under oath to correct the record, to answer the committee's questions truthfully, and to offer the American people what I know about President Trump.
Oh, I can't wait to hear what Glenn has to say about this. Let's go to Meridian and speak with Jim. Jim, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Hey, Jim.
Morning, Kevin. How you doing?
Not bad. Trying to stay dry. And you, sir?
Same thing. Just trying to shake a cold. Yeah, I just called. I'm been listening to this and Cohen, and I just want to say, it's already been said, but the level of lowness or foulness that these people will stoop to destroy President Trump. It should be a crime what he's doing. I voted for President Trump. Someone once said, we didn't. President Trump's not a perfect man, but he was the man perfect for the job. And the Democrats hate him. This is beyond, just disagreements with policies or stuff like that. This is absolute hatred, and they really remind me of people that just throw crap against the wall waiting for something to stick. And now they pull this out, and this guy is a liar. He's been convicted. He's going to prison. Now all of a sudden he's had a change of heart. And as Pro-Life mentioned, there is no history whatsoever of Trump being a racist. As a matter of fact, all the black rappers, used to sing about Trump and wanting to be like Trump and getting Trump's money and Trump. And, there's pictures of him with Don King, Jesse Jackson. I mean, every one of the black race baiters that are out there, they've never once accused Trump of being a racist. No one's ever accused him of that until he decides to run against the Democrat Party. And let's be honest, okay, the Democrat Party is nothing but a continuing criminal enterprise. You think John Gotti was bad? Let me tell you something. The Democrat Party is a criminal enterprise that are literally working to destroy our Constitution, destroy our freedom, destroy our way of life. They're nothing, but to be quite honest with you, the Democrat Party today is the Communist Party USA.